Hi, welcome to Astrobabble. I'm Donna from Donna B Astrology,
And I'm Lynda from Scullywag Astrology.
and today we are going to be talking about the new moon in Pisces.
hmm And I'm just going to bring up the chart.
And while you're doing that, I will talk about the moon mansion. And I'm getting this from Christopher Warnock's book. Um, and uh, this is part of the Picatrix, and he kind of melds all of the elections together. It's the 26th moon mansion, and it's good for goodwill, love, friendship. Um, it's good for relationships, romantic love, divine love as well. It's also good for recovery from illnesses, which is nice,
That is
and
nice.
general health. So
Nice.
that is that is very nice. And then there's also a passage which reflects this moon mansion, and it says, "Bind people in mutual love to travel and safely travel on roads, to strengthen buildings and make incarcerations of captives firm, and to cause evil to them." So you wouldn't want to be a captive at this lunation.
Yeah. Nice to go on a trip with a loved one, though, apparently. Sounds very nice.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. And this usually, as you had mentioned, this lunation, you mentioned it to me earlier. This lunation and all of the lunations literally will go through the whole 2 weeks about. So those energies can last through the 2 weeks, period.
Mm.
So
We've got a lovely Venus-Jupiter conjunction later following this new moon. And I know that you in particular really like the two benefics together. Very helpful for health. So yeah, very nice.
yes. Yeah, it's a great time to work on your health and do something to either start something to, make it better. And yeah, it's great.
Yeah, because I mean, new moons are about new beginnings, new starts, planting the seeds. Um, this time of the lunation cycle is equivalent to like planting the seeds, and the full moon is when it is like the harvest. So yeah, very nice. So in some ways, like Donna was saying, there's the 2 weeks that those energies are kind of you know affected by that full moon, or in this case a new moon. But then 6 months later at the full moon there may be a connection as well, so that's quite interesting. And yeah, so this new moon
It's very
is
interesting.
mm, mm. This new moon is at 1 degree and 22 minutes of Pisces, so just got into the sign, so very interesting. It's co-present with Neptune and Venus, who will have had their conjunction round about the 15th of Feb, so about 4 or 5 days prior to the new moon. But and they're not super close, they're 24 and 29 degrees of Pisces, but still there's the new moon co-present, which means in the same sign as Neptune, which is quite dreamy and romantic, and Venus, which is all about values and relationships. And as Donna was saying, with that moon mansion, really good for traveling with a loved one. Venus just about to leave, though. She's just about to go from the sign of her exaltation, where she's treated like a queen, into Aries, where she's not quite treated like a queen.
Yeah, it looks really, really good for the most part. Yeah.
It's a shame that Jupiter, which is the ruler of Pisces, is in Aries at this time, because Aries and Pisces are side by side. So it's like it can't see each other. Jupiter and Aries cannot see the new moon, so it kind of can't assist it in some ways. So that's a shame, but we've got the benefic Venus there with it co-present. So that's something.
Yeah. It's a little bit of bright light or a little bit of help because right after this new moon, Venus is going to hightail it right out of that sign. So
Yeah. Yeah, kind of I'm getting a feeling for like a little bit of calm before the storm, perhaps.
I am thinking that as well
Yeah,
because we have a busy March.
yeah.
So this is definitely it does feel like the calm before the storm.
Okie dokie. Well, shall we have a look at how this full moon will manifest for everybody? And before we go into this, when we read these out, we're referring to the ascendant signs. So if we're talking about Aries, we're talking about Aries ascendant. If you're an Aries sun or moon, naturally, of course, you can read it, but it's much more accurate if you know your ascendant sign to read or listen, in this case, to your ascendant sign horoscope. And if you don't understand why that is, we've done a little video regarding that and why it makes more sense. And I'll link to that in the description. Wow.
Right.
Look at all that
I
first
know.
house for Pisces.
It is a full house. And if you are a Pisces, this new moon's going to be happening in your first house. And, it's beginnings and it's what happens concerning you. You could either get a new haircut, a new style, new clothes, but this will be happening with you. And I'm looking at that Venus in your first house, and she is in a separating sextile from that Pluto. I wonder if there's some kind of dynamic with that. If you are a Pisces rising, it seems like there might be some kind of power struggle. If you're a Pisces rising, that could be something that you're dealing with or still dealing with. So, but it's separating, so it should be waning. It should be not waning. I don't want to use that word. It should be getting less.
Yeah,
The
ebbing.
intensity
Right.
of that transition
Yeah,
is getting less.
it's kind of, it's had its peak, which was when it was exact, and now it's starting to ebb or flow away. So yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with Pluto in the 11th house, maybe it had something to do with friends, groups, or organizations, or maybe even hopes and wishes. If you are an Aquarius ascendant, this new moon will be happening in your second house. So the second house has to do with our income, our finances, and our personal resources. With Venus there, it's just about to leave and move into your third house. But maybe, there might be some start of some new beginnings to do with finances. It could be a little bonus because Venus is a benefic. But yeah, maybe you're kind of, just sorting out a budget, or, maybe you are starting some new, maybe a second job, new income stream. Maybe you've just received or purchased yourself a resource that will be useful to you. Or, could be a whole new job. Maybe you haven't been working and now there's this new opportunity. I'm not seeing anything in the 10th house, or the 6th. So I'd say this is probably a bonus or an increase of some sort from somewhere else. I mean, not necessarily a new job or anything.
It does seem to have a favorable flavor to it with Venus. Venus is there to help it, but Saturn's on the other side. It's close, but it's out of sign. So hopefully that's not affecting it too much.
Yeah, within 3 degrees, but yeah, it's out of sign. So yeah, time will tell, I suppose.
And then if you are a Capricorn rising, this is going to be happening in your third house. And this will be new beginnings with family, could be cousins or brothers and sisters, as well as anything in the community. So, starting, community ventures. I know it's starting to get warm here in the Northern Hemisphere. So, get out and into your community. It's a great time to start, getting out or at least thinking about what you'll be doing in your community in the warmer weather.
Very nice.
That wide Mercury Mars trine It's good for that.
Could be very interesting. And if you are a Sagittarius ascendant, this new moon is happening in your fourth house. So the fourth house is your parents, your home and living situation. It's real estate matters, homeland, heritage, ancestry. So there might be new beginnings. That could be something that has nothing to do with you. It could actually be happening to your parents. Maybe there's some new venture that they're setting out on. It could be even something as simple as, maybe you're looking into your family genealogy, starting to do something like that. Or it could be to do with home and living. So it could be, signing a new lease, beginning to look for somewhere new to live, something similar. So yeah, new beginnings to do with those matters.
And if you are a Scorpio rising, this new moon is going to be happening in your fifth house. So that's going to be things that you're doing with your children, how to be creative as well. So this would be really good for those Scorpio risings.
Yeah, really nice position to have the new moon in the fifth. Fifth house is a really
Yeah.
nice house. And I mean, with Venus and Neptune there, could be very creative, very nice.
I'm crossing my fingers for that one.
And if you are a Libra
If you are,
ascendant, this new moon is in your sixth house. Donna was saying with the moon mansion earlier that this is a really good mansion or a position for the moon regarding health matters. Now, you said it's good for health, but also recovery, did you say?
yes, yes.
So really nice. Maybe if you've been suffering some sort of illness, this is something that would be like really beneficial. You've got Venus, the benefic, or one of the benefics in there, and that will certainly be helpful as well, because the sixth house is associated with illness. It could also be, perhaps, it's hard to say, but this could be a really good time to take up something that will benefit your health, because new moons are about new beginnings, new starts, maybe take a walk every day or something similar, or, you're eating better or whatever. A good time to be doing something like that. Also, the house to do with our pets, also service to others. So particularly people that serve society in some way, such as doctors, nurses, those in the emergency services. There may be, maybe you're beginning training at this time, or maybe, you've just enlisted or enrolled or something similar. And yeah, pets, maybe there's a nice new pet, very cute one if we've got Venus and very cute, and I'm thinking fluffy one with Neptune's not super close to that Venus, but yeah.
It's close enough. Yeah. Definitely a nice aspect for Libra risings. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are a Virgo rising, this is going to be happening in your seventh house. And the seventh house is the house where you're going to be starting new things with either a significant other, a business partner. This is also going to be new things that are starting with an adversary, could possibly be, because this would be open enemies. But yeah, you've got that Venus in there to help you out. So
Yeah.
very nice.
And
Or you
if
might get that appointment that you were looking for. Sorry.
no, that's well, particularly like maybe with a doctor, because you got that good health. Maybe you've been waiting to get in to see a specialist regarding something, and something, sometimes cancellations, maybe you get it earlier than you expect, or maybe it's just at this time that you learn that yes, you can have this appointment at that date. That would be nice.
Exactly. It is nice to have a benefic in the seventh house.
Oh, definitely. And if you are a Leo ascendant, this new moon is happening in your eighth house. The eighth house is to do with mortality and other people's money, or shared finances and resources. So there might be new beginnings, maybe there's an inheritance, maybe at this time you learn about that, or the probate. I'm not sure is that what they call it over there when they kind of go through inheritance?
After someone passes and they're figuring out what
Yeah,
the will is and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Maybe that's just beginning, or, you know, maybe you're applying for a loan, or a loan is, you know, going through at this time. Uh, you know, maybe you're signing paperwork to do with, this could be regarding joint financial ventures with either a business or a romantic partner. Yeah, applying for a loan. It could be matters to do with taxation or insurances. Likely to be just beginnings. This isn't the time I would expect to be getting the inheritance or the loan necessarily approved at that time. This is kind of new beginnings, you know. So you've got the Venus there. It should be beneficial, I would hope. Yeah.
This is the start of
Yes. Yeah.
usually a new
Start
moon.
of. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you are a Cancer rising, you know, going on with the moon mansion I was talking about earlier is a good time for travel. So
Mm.
this new moon is in the ninth house, and the ninth house has, you know, it signifies things that you know, publishing or law or the esoteric subjects as well. So these would be things when you would start these kinds of things, higher education. Yeah, if you want to go for something, this would be a good time to do it
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're a Cancer rising.
If you're a Gemini rising, this new moon is happening in your 10th house of career and public reputation. So this could be literally a new job, a new position at work, or it could be new beginnings to do with matters that will bring attention to you in some way. The 10th house is a very visible house. So for whatever reason, you might be getting more attention. It might not necessarily be that the attention is fully on you at this time, but you're maybe beginning something that will eventually gain more attention. I often see, you know, full moon in the 10th house, you're getting married, you're having a child, you know, maybe you're giving a special presentation, not necessarily related to work or career. But yeah, for whatever reason, you know, you're setting out on something that may gain you honors, rewards, or just attention. And yeah, it also is a house of infamy, though. So maybe you're starting some mischief. I mean, who can imagine our Gemini's doing that? But it could happen.
Well, you know, I'm looking at that Mars sitting right in the first house, and it's trining Mercury, so a speech might be more to the surface. That might be an event that might send you there to that house of infamy. It might support that, as well as the, you know, the surprise element. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm just saying that's in your 12th house. Don't let things undo you.
Mm.
There's a square.
Yeah, I kind of like that Mars. I mean, it's a trine between Mars and
Mars,
Mercury, and
Mercury.
then they're both sextiling Jupiter. So I reckon you'd be able to get away with it. I see it as more impish, you know, a bit of mischief rather than malice, I would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. With Mercury. Yeah. Because Mercury is
Mm.
the trickster.
Yes.
And moving on to Taurus. If you are a Taurus rising, you're quite familiar with the surprise element. It's been in your first house for the last 3 or 4 years at least. So you know what this is all about. But the new moon will be happening in your house of friendships and groups and associations. That's the 11th house. And this would be a great time to start, you know, a new project with a group, or even starting a new group, or joining you know, a group that you have never joined before. So this is a great aspect. It will have a little bit of surprise elements to it, but very interesting for, you know, the groups and associations as well as hopes and dreams. So that's a nice setup for that.
That is a nice setup.
Though Mercury is applying to that Uranus in a square.
And if you are an Aries ascendant, this new moon is happening in your 12th house. The 12th house is one of the more difficult houses. This is the house of our undoing, but it's also rest and retreat, seclusion. It covers topics such as addictions, hidden or secret matters, and places of confinement like hospitals, prisons, spiritual retreats, exile. So it could be that there's new beginnings to do with that. And I mean, all those things sound horrible, but I mean, you know, this isn't the end of the world. It could be literally that you're taking a step back, new beginnings, working behind the scenes, or could be coming up, there's a hospital visit, or there's something to do with, you know, more private, hidden matters. So you've got Venus there. As Donna said earlier in the podcast, this is a really good moon mansion for health matters. This is a house, like the 6th house is illness. The 12th house can be kind of hidden illnesses. So illnesses that aren't necessarily visible. In that case, this might be quite beneficial for that. I would hope so. That would be really nice. And maybe at this time there's some steps or new things that you could be undergoing to kind of assist with that, perhaps. But yeah, it may be just that you're taking a step back to actually, you know, just recalibrate a little bit, kind of recharge your batteries. I mean, Aries, very full-on sign, so, you know, we all need to rest and recuperate sometimes. Maybe now, this month, well, not this month, this next couple of weeks would be a good time to actually make sure that you are getting as much rest and not relaxation necessarily, but enough rest.
And if you are in a position to, you know, get a new horse or a larger animal, this might be something, this could be an aspect where you're starting to work with a larger animal, because the 12th house, the 6th house works with the small animals, but the 12th house works with the larger animals, cows, horses, you know, those larger animals. So if you work in a zoo, maybe you might see a zoo. I don't, you know, it could be anything. Really, literally, people are still eaten by tigers now, so it does not surprise me when I say things. It's like, you know, it really could happen.
Oh,
So, but that's not what this is about. This is about starting new something with a benefic in there. If you have always wanted a horse and you're in a position to get a horse, you very well might get a horse at this one if you are an Aries rising.
Or maybe you just go horse riding. maybe you
horse
start horse riding. I don't know. Yeah. So interesting. And Donna, do you have a crystal for us?
I do. The crystal that I have is for the mansion, and it's for the moon, and it's for traveling. It is
Nice.
called Larimar. So, oh, it's a blue greenish, blue green, and also white. You know, it's got white in it. But if you look at this stone, and I have it better in this ring.
Nice.
It's blue and white, and it kind of looks like a churning water, you know, like the how you see the white bubbles in, because it actually grows in spikes in like a basaltic lava. And then I have it in a bracelet as well.
Oh,
This
I
is
like it in
only
a
found
bracelet.
in this is only found in one part of the world. It is in the Dominican Republic. It has a Mohs hardness of 4.5 to 5. It resonates with the 5th chakra, so it's right here at the throat. It helps you communicate, which is why you see me wearing it all the time. It not only helps you communicate, but it also is a good stone for healers and caregivers to remind them to do that self-care. So this is one of those great stones that it's cooling, it's watery, it helps things flow, and it does go from a blue to a green and blue to white, and it kind of is it looks turbulent. This stone looks very turbulent. Um, it's a sodium calcium silicate. Yeah, and it helps you to calm down, cooling, travel. It's a great stone. It really is. I really like it, and I do wear it, and I make sure that I am wearing it if I am traveling.
Nice, very nice.
And I thought it was very good for Pisces because,
Hmm.
the water element as well as the traveling. This is great for the mansion.
Yeah, very
Just seemed to
nice.
work. So
Very
I
nice.
couldn't have been a better stone, for me to pick for today. So
Ready for the aspects?
I am.
So our first aspect out the gate is Venus entering Aries, which will also be on the 20th of Feb. Yeah, it's a
Right.
shame.
She's in there long enough during it. That's what counts.
Yeah, so Venus is going to go from being exalted, being treated, like a queen, like visiting royalty, down to what we could say is in detriment, because Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars and Venus are very different. She's, a lot more rough and ready world now. She needs to adapt. So, yeah,
She'll be co-president with Jupiter, which would be nice.
it will be nice. But yeah, just
It's a little bit of help.
got a little bit of a rough edge to this Venus. She's I wouldn't say slumming it, but she's yeah.
She's out of her element. She's peregrine. She does not have any dignity, which means strength.
Mm,
So when you
mm,
hear that word dignity, it means strength. And if they don't have any, they don't have a whole lot of, they don't have all their tools to work with.
mm,
They
mm.
have to work with tools that they're not really equipped to work with. Aries is giving her, or Mars is the sign that she's in is giving her, you know, um, instead
Combat
of the
boots.
pink, he's making her work with only the red tools.
Yeah, yeah, this is
And
it.
she doesn't really like it, but she'll work with them to a little bit. It might make her a little bit more fiery. She is known as as a warrior as well, so she might
Mhm.
have a little bit of that.
Yeah, yeah, if you can think of the planets as people, Venus is usually considered very girly, and now she's staying with Mars, who, he's very much a bachelor, and he's a bit rough and ready, and yeah,
Yeah.
she's not wearing the high heels so much here, so much as combat boots, and yeah.
Yeah. And she's in an environment that is more aggressive, and she's the calm, laid back, let's include everyone, and she's in an environment where um the people need to have a little bit more space.
Yeah, and a brawl could break out at any time. So yeah, it's a little bit more rough and ready. Wherever Aries is in your natal chart, you may have some good luck at this time. Venus is a benefic, does tend to bring good things. So depending on what house it is, there might be some, little bonus, or, not huge. We're not talking necessarily lotto wins or anything, but maybe just a little bit more good luck. Just nice things.
Exactly. Yeah. For Aries, this is a really good. You got both benefics in your house. So,
Yeah, very nice.
and then the next aspect is going to be Mercury is going to square Uranus. And yeah, I touched on this a little bit because it stuck out to me like a sore thumb. Mercury is the planet of communication, and you know, it wants to talk, it wants to communicate. And then Uranus is that shock and surprise. So, or if not shock and surprise, it could be just a different way of addressing an issue. So this
Yeah.
could be very interesting for conversations, I'm thinking.
Mm, mm. With the square, that brings tension. I'm thinking kind of jangled nerves, kind of like overstimulated. There's too much happening at once. I know myself, you know, when I have days where you seem to be constantly on the move, you know, everybody's trying to talk to you at once, everybody wants to get to you at the same time, and it can be overwhelming. That's the sort of energy I'm feeling for this. It could be unexpected news as well, like Donna said, shocking, innovative, and it doesn't necessarily mean these are bad things. It may be just too much, you know, a little bit of overwhelm, but you know, maybe you need this to kind of prod you into moving and doing something. You know, maybe you've been procrastinating, and then you realize, oh my, the deadline's tomorrow. I've got to do this. But then it's like, you know, a solid 8 hours just, you know, furiously doing what you need to do, or something similar. It's yeah, just that kind of almost a little bit of overwhelm for a lot of people, I would imagine.
Very interesting. And they're at that 15-degree mark. And somewhere I was reading that 15 degrees is a very prominent sign in all of the signs. But when it's 15 degrees, it really wants to show that sign for some reason. I don't know where I read it. I wish I did.
Well,
Might
yeah.
have been in passing, but
Well, I mean, 15 degrees is like smack bang in the middle, isn't it? It's, you've kind of eased into the sign and you kind of reached your peak, I suppose, and now you're kind of working on leaving the sign. I mean, not immediately, but you know, you're halfway there. And you know,
right.
once it gets to, you know, 28, 29 degrees, it's kind of like that energy of kind of like, yes, we're finishing up this, but we're kind of looking ahead to where we're going next as well.
Right. Yeah. So I think we're in the energy of this is what I want to do here. So
Yeah.
and Venus will still be in the, in the terms of good of a good planet. She'll be in the terms of Jupiter, and
Yeah.
that'll be nice. That'll
That will
still be
be
nice.
nice. Yeah. And then we have Mercury trine Mars, kind of more or less following on that, which this is nice. This is quick thought. It is, I also like to think of this as like, you know, putting your money where your mouth is sort of thing. It's kind of like, you know, you think it, you do it. Quick responses. The trine does help those energies work well together. Mercury is communications, thinking, learning. Mars is action, drive, ambition, courage. They're both in air signs. So thinking, communications, intelligence, intellectual pursuits are associated with your air signs. So yeah, this is really good, quick thinking. You know, you've had that just previous to this, we will have had that Mercury Uranus square where we're talking about maybe being a little bit overwhelmed, or, you know, it's happening quickly. Here's where like, okay, we're doing it. And I think that Mars can kind of deal with that tension, I suppose. You know, we've had that square where it can be very anxiety making for a lot of people, I think, you know, that, you know, too much going on. But now we're kind of like, you know, you kind of perhaps at this time get into your groove and it's like, okay, just do it, which is a very Marsy thing.
I like this because, as you said, Mercury is in charge of that, that process, that thinking. And with Mars, this would be a good time to address those hard thinking topics that you have to, think about, whether it's a good time to do taxes. In the United States, this is tax season, so it'd be a good time to attack those mental chores that are so hard to do,
Yeah.
or that you really don't want to do, but this will give you that drive to get it done. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
marking this day to do my taxes, I'm thinking.
Well, yeah, I mean, that Mars is ruled by Mercury as well. So it's a nice, you know, Mars can see its ruler. They're working well together. Yeah, just you think it and you do it. You know, thought and action in kind of lockstep. I like it.
Exactly. I love that thought in action. Just that's what that means. Yeah.
Mm.
Nice.
Good time to tackle something
And
that
then,
you've been putting off.
yep, yep,
Mm.
really good. And then this will be the aspect that I really, really like. With Venus and Jupiter are going to conjunct. That means they're gonna come together and look like they're right on top of each other. And that's going to be a blending of both benefics, and that just screams to me this is a good day. It's something's good's going to happen. This is something that's going to move forward the path that we all need to take. This is that good energy to propel you, forward.
Yeah, yeah. As Donna said, these are our benefics, Venus and Jupiter. Jupiter by nature expands. So in a way, you could say Jupiter is expanding that the good qualities of Venus as well as being benefic itself. Yeah, just nice. Great time for socializing, generosity of spirit, very open, kind of, and it's optimistic and enthusiastic and generous. It's just nice.
And this is happening on March 2nd. And the last aspect we had was February 22nd. So we will have a whole week of no aspects. It'll be very quiet, and there shouldn't be a lot of, turmoil if, from February 22nd to this March 2nd. So, and then it's going to start off, nice. So I'm thinking this is a really nice, calm week, and a nice start to the aspects, because March is going to be, it's going to have more planetary aspects and more shifting is going to go on in March. So this is really the calm before the storm. We're really going to have a bonus with Venus and Jupiter together for this, the first aspect that we're going to have in March. So that's really nice.
It
That's
is nice, yeah.
looking forward to that.
Also happening on the 2nd of March, we have Mercury conjunct Saturn. This is in Aquarius, which is a can be quite serious sign in that it's ruled by Saturn. Aquarius is a very innovative thinker, goes beyond, can be quite far-seeing. Aquarius is often associated with future events, the new kind of, Aquarians I often think of them as kind of like almost hipsters. They're onto the new objects or the new hip thing before everybody else is. Mercury, thinking, communications. Saturn is a little bit conservative. Yeah, but this is serious thinking. This is maybe conservative thinking, but yeah, this is kind of, and it can be strategic, I think, that Aquarius has that ability to kind of not necessarily see into the future, but they've kind of got a sense for what's coming down the track, I think. So yeah, good strategic planning, I think, with this position.
Yeah, I like this with, it's the last time that I think it's the last time that these planets are going to be in um a Saturn ruled sign with Mercury and Saturn. So if you've been like I was doing my work, I'm doing my taxes like the week prior to this. But it'll be a good time to review those things and make sure that I followed all the rules, I've dotted all the I's, I've crossed all the T's. And that's the Saturn Mercury. It will help you do that. It'll help you do the detail of a task that you really don't want to do. So
Yeah,
yeah, this is a great aspect for that.
yeah, very good.
It'll Saturn will be there to add the stability, the foundation, the making sure that everything's is done.
Yeah.
So it really is a good aspect to do your taxes.
And then later we will have Mercury moving into Pisces. Mercury will be moving pretty fast at this time, about 172% of its usual speed. So Mercury is just zipping through.
Wow, that is fast.
It is fast, yeah, yeah. Mercury will be what we consider in detriment and in fall. Mercury is unusual. I mean, it's unusual in general. It can be feminine or masculine or non-binary, I would imagine would be the terminology these days, but it can be both or neither sort of thing. It can be benefic or malefic. It tends to take on qualities of what it's close to. And it is the only planet that has a sign where it's in domicile and exalted, which is Virgo, which means that when it's in Pisces, it's not only in fall, it's in detriment. So this is as far away from where it can be. It's like if you think of those planets as people, this planet is gone like halfway across the world from where it usually lives. It's in a strange place, in a foreign land. It's what we call peregrine, which is more or less stranger in a strange land. It's ruled by Jupiter, which is very big picture, whereas Mercury tends to be detail orientated. So you know, some people say Mercury in Pisces kind of like a little bit space cadet, you know, it gets a bit of a bad rap, but it's also quite creative. Yeah, it's quite expansive. So yeah, so wherever Pisces is in your natal chart, this will bring people and topics associated with that natal chart. You may be communicating with them more. You may be thinking or about them more, or yeah, just needing to communicate, busy work. That Mercury is just powering through at this time, so it probably won't be a Mercury for long. But yeah, not the best time perhaps for detail orientated work, but really good for creative and
good for intuition as well as dream recall.
Yeah, we've got that Neptune in Pisces at the time too. And when Mercury eventually does get up to Neptune, which at the speed it's traveling, it's going to be like, I don't know when that is, but maybe closer to 2 weeks than 3. That
30 seconds later, it's
day.
going 172 miles an hour or 172% of the speed. It is going really fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in the terms of Venus. So Venus will be there to help.
Yeah, for quite a while too, from the looks of it. That's nice. So
Yeah.
it'll be in the terms of Venus and then Jupiter. So nice. And then its own terms. So that's something.
So yeah. So that'll be nice. Maybe it'll be aspecting something nice and to give it a little bit of help. And then we have on March 6th, we have the sun will sextile Uranus. And this is a good day to, it seems like creative change. You want to be thinking. It has something to do with, you know, your mental state. You know, with a sextile to Uranus, which is that planet of let's do something different. So I'm thinking this to be good for that. It'd be good for creative change.
Yeah, I think you know, the sun's our essential self. It can be intelligence and, you know, it's our vitality. Uranus is you know, innovative, unusual, unexpected. Can also be quite freedom. It's often associated with, you know, rebellion and freedom and that. So, you know, maybe you're just mixing things up a bit. It's a sextile, so hopefully it should be quite positive. You know, maybe you're just doing things a little bit different. Maybe you're kind of like, you know what, I always wanted to do that, so let's do it. You know, it's not necessarily, you know, rocking any boats, but maybe you're just doing something that brings you a little bit more joy or makes you feel a little bit more alive.
It should definitely be interesting because I think Uranus throws that that different perspective, you know, at us all the time.
Yeah. And I mean, this is only going to last a day or two. I mean, the sun moves quick. You know, it's not like this is going to be happening for 3.5 months or something. You know, this is quick. It could just be like, you know, your usual routine is a little bit different and, you know, maybe you kind of enjoy it.
And unlike the rest of the planets, the sun pretty much stays around 100% of its motion.
Yeah.
It doesn't travel like Mercury is going 172% of the speed. And what was I looking at that? Saturn is going 200 and or Jupiter's going 274
Mm,
percent of its speed, and Saturn's going 350
yeah.
some
Yeah. Yeah.
as fast as it
Lynda.
normally goes. So wow.
Mm, mm.
So just hurrying over to Uranus is what I'm seeing.
Yeah. 297%. Neptune's going really, really fast. But I mean, with the outers, I mean, they move so slowly, even if they are going apparently 627% of the usual speed, they're still going really slow.
Yes, but still, it's
Mm.
amazing that they can vary their speeds so much.
Oh, yeah.
But it is
Yeah.
something to watch because the faster the planet is going, the more impactful it is. It's a quick impact.
Mm.
They are more historically impactful.
Yeah. And then we have the full moon in Virgo, which will be on the 7th of March. So this will be the full moon in Virgo. Interesting.
Oh,
Nearest Mercury. Oh,
very
Mercury
nice.
will be not closely, but it will be widely opposite the moon in a sign of its
Nice.
detriment and fall. So
So nice.
uh,
Yay, no.
oh, it will be trine Uranus, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Wide square to Mars. So interesting. Hmm.
And that starts off because March does start off a lot of the planetary shifts that we'll be um experiencing.
Well, we'll finally be getting Mars out of its shadow period, which would be nice. And then it will finally leave Gemini.
Yeah, next later on in the month. It's not
Mm,
out of its
mm.
shadow period yet, even here. Even on March 7th, it's not going to be out of the shadow
Yeah,
period yet.
I think not until the 15th or something, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
so
Oh, but look at
that
that
is
Saturn at 29 degrees 59, getting ready to move into Pisces. So,
yeah, later that day.
oh, is it the 7th that it moves? Ah,
It
interesting.
will move like Venus hightailed it out of Saturn's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So Venus moved out at the new moon, and Saturn's going to move out at the full moon. So I wonder what that is all about.
Mm, interesting. And then Pluto. When does Pluto move into Aquarius?
The 23rd, I believe. Yeah.
Of
The
March.
23rd of March. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
So, and that will be a significant change, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, that will dip into Aquarius for a little while, but it's not done with Capricorn yet. It's going back.
March, April, May, June, 4 months. It'll be there
4 months.
for just about 4 months. Pluto will
Yeah.
be, but we'll get that flavor. So we'll understand what Pluto's mission is
Hmm.
for Aquarius starting March 23rd. So
Yeah.
because it's going to be in that sign for about at least 20 years in Aquarius. So it's going to go into Aquarius, and then it's going to jump back into Capricorn for a little bit.
Mm.
Maybe give us time to catch our breath. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll soon find out, I suppose.
We will.
Mm. So, Donna, what services are you providing for people and where can people find you?
I am provide or what I provide is natal readings, as well as year ahead readings, as well as electional readings, horary readings, as well as I do crystal energy work, stone healing, so energy, um
Nice.
chakra balancing. Because in my opinion, this is totally my opinion, but if in my opinion, if your chakras aren't balanced and aligned correctly, you have a harder time maintaining your health.
Mhm.
That's just mine thing. So so I work with that. And you can get a hold of me at donnabastrology.com. And I am also on Facebook under Donna Bar Consulting. So you can get me at any of those places. I'm also on Instagram, very little bit, but very little. I'm just starting to get onto there. That's where you can get a hold of me. And Lynda, what are you doing and where can people reach you?
I am doing natal readings, relationship readings, and year ahead readings. I'm at Scullywag Astrology. It's astrology.scullywag.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah. So thank you for listening. Yeah. Let us know how the month is treating you, or the new moon's treating you. And yeah, we love your comments, your shares, your likes, your subscribes. So yeah.
Enjoy the break.
What was it again? The calm before the storm.
The calm before the storm.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Ciao.
Bye.